pick for Citrus, it looks like.
And I think this map is very versatile in terms of what kind of composition that teams want to run. Because normally you would see the meta no matter what map is picked in these kinds of tournaments, but I feel like sometimes it's not a bad thing to kind of go out and do your own kind of style. And we're already seeing that here with the picks.
Yeah, and, you know, Zeb, as I've already said, I got to tip my hat to them. They are a very good tank player. Coming out on the Junker Queen, we have seen a lot of Junker Queen in Overwatch League, actually, almost as like a counter dive strategy. Just being able to use that shout as an appeal mechanism for both speed and extra health is really useful. And Danny here doing a good job of marking the Tracer with the Sombra, going to be coming around the corner and saying, hey, they're not alone, I've been hiding here this entire time. Danny is doing a good job of keeping these DPS at bay for the time being, but meanwhile, on the point, it looks like the rest of that core of NA Avoided is actually going to be taking quite a bit of space. Ultimate Weapon is going to be trying to help keep these DPS at bay on the bridge, and now Zebra, well known for the Doomfist pick here, getting beamed down. Very nice cleanse from Vera is going to keep them alive for the time being. This Moira as well, just doing so much healing for them. Ultimate Up is going to go down from Zomba. A little bit of a Tracer on Tracer action there. Gorilla is going to find a nice skill orb. Love to see it. Moira getting a bit more play nowadays. And Z-Man hitting some nice shurikens here. This should be a cleanup for the side of NA Avoided, but right now, Citrus stalling out. Z-Man, whoo! TP almost right into the drink there. NA Avoided going to be getting that first flip.
You kind of mentioned the Doomfist pick before during that fight, and I think it was a great kind of initiator tool because it really allowed NA Voided to do a lot of damage in that small little central space. You kind of saw like Ultima Weapon and the rest of Citrus try to do a little bit of poke damage, but just the blunt that they were facing was a little bit too much.
Yeah, I mean, and this aggression we're seeing from NA Avoided, not giving them a single inch. I mean, they're basically in their spawn at this point. Zomba doing a very nice job of just being an absolute nuisance on this flank right now. Zebra going in as well as that beat from the side of Citrus to try and keep them alive. Danny is going to find Asa. That's a very big pick. Sombra being taken out means that a lot of utility is going to be taken away, but it doesn't matter. NA Avoided is going to be fighting back. That Kitsune Rush is just such a strong, powerful ability, and Zomba is doing a very nice job on this Tracer. That's going to be 3 for them. Can they make it a 4th for the cleanup? Yes, they will. Nice little 4K from Zomba there with the help of their team.
You might be a little bit nervous because you see that NA Voided had to commit 3 ultimates for that fight, but look at the side of Citrus. They had to use both of their support ultimates, and now as we get past that halfway point, Citrus is going to have to put in a little bit more work here to try to get an opening. That Rampage coming online soon for Zeb may be the tool for it to happen, but they're going to have to be a little bit cautious, especially since Asa almost has that EMP.
I mean, the EMP's online here. Yeah, there it is. They're just going to go fast with it, and that's an easy pick onto Z-Man. I mean, there's nothing they can do about that. Picks for days, a nice little stick just to make sure that they're not flipping this. And, you know, I was about to say before that fight took place, this was a potentially dangerous fight where they wouldn't be able to get a second fight. But with the time remaining, they definitely have time for an engage. They do have the Rampage, almost a Blade, but, I mean, as we all know, Rampage is very easily counterable with that Suzu cleanse from Kiriko on NA Avoided, so you gotta try and force that out if you want to get any value whatsoever. Otherwise, you're just throwing yourself into the enemy team. Here comes the Blade. There's gotta be one. Getting one so far. Are they gonna be able to get a second? Zev actually with a swing of that one, not with the samurai sword, but with the axe, finding a pick. Danny is going to get a third or a second just to make sure that they take it. And now, points finally accruing for Citrus.
Speaking of throwing yourself into the enemy team, that Blade really did justice. Citrus finally on the board here, and they do still have that Rampage now, also with the Pulse, and that quick kill on the Zomba is going to allow Citrus to set up very nicely here and force Unavoided to regroup.
Yeah, I mean, all they had to use with the Dragon Blade, that's really good for the ult economy. And this Junkrat pick, I didn't even realize before in the last fight, but Asa is on Junkrat after using the Sombra EMP. I honestly don't hate it. You can see, okay, actually look at this. You see that trap placement? They've swapped to the Junkrat to try and make it so that when they use that Rampage, the Junker Queen gets stuck a nice little stick, but the cleanse is, wait, the cleanse is out. The cleanse is out. This could potentially be a perfect time for Zeb to use the shout, and the Rampage. Yes, there it is, and they don't get hit by the trap. That's absolutely massive. Great play. The Pulse Bomb is able to get that Suzu out, and now they're able to get the first pick, but it's going to be Ultimate going down to Zomba. Zomba doing so good on this Tracer right now. Zebra is getting quite low, but the cleanse is going to make sure that they're alive for the time being. It's 4v4 on this point. Zeb finding Zomba, that Tracer, thorn in their side no longer. And now Gorilla, hold on, Gorilla on the Moira, the Coalescence along with the Fade being able to keep them up for the time being. Z-Man is just getting absolutely dominated right now. So much space being taken by Zebra, and now the Kitsune Rush was able to be hit off from Z-Man for the time being. It's a very close fight on the point, but I think this is potentially going to be it. Yes, there's going to be one last potential touch from the Lucio, but they're going to be punched out. Going to be trying to touch again. The Genji on the point. The punch is going to cancel their deflect, and now Zomba, once again, a pick in their favor. I'm not sure. Oh, beautiful punch, but the Winston jump is actually going to be beautiful. Threads it through the window, going to get a touch, as well as Z-Man jumping in, getting that cleanse down. This is not over here. Asa finding a pick onto Ultimate Left, though, just with the primary fire of that Junkrat. We're going to be seeing Z-Man try to stay alive. The nice little TP to stay up for the time being, but with so few people left on their side, man, that was a very close fight, but it is ultimately NA Avoided who are going to take that first round.
You know, I can't even blame Citrus there because Zeb really played that correctly. They kind of waited for that cleanse to be out, as you mentioned, Teku, and they used the Rampage accordingly. It was just kind of the ultimates that NA Avoided had in their arsenal, how like the counter Kitsune Rush was able to kind of overpower Z-Man. But now as we come into this kind of second round area, Citrus is making a little bit of a swap. We see now that Winston instead... No, the Junker Queen makes a return. But now we see Zomba coming on the sim, most likely for the just TP effort, but I'm going to be interested to see how long that pick lasts.
Yeah, we'll see. We have seen teams play the Symmetra here just for that initial point take. Let's take a look and see if it's just for the TP. Yes, it does appear to be so. Going to be swapping back to the Tracer. Both sides doing that, actually, just getting that extra space. But obviously, NA Avoided going to be rolling out on that right side of the map, and this is actually a bit of an interesting stall here. Both the Tracers are going to be kind of marking that mega health pack near the top of your screen. And now with Citrus kind of controlling the point for the time being, it looks like NA Avoided are potentially just going to have to give this unless Ultimate Web goes down to just a random kunai from Veronacinti. Very nice shot there. I feel like Veronacinti has been doing a very good job here, just finding those picks. Something that's very important for top-tier Kirikos to do, having both damage and healing. Speaking of healing, Zeb not getting enough, even though they were getting a full pocket. This looks like NA Avoided will be taking it. Z-Man, though, finding a nice pick on the Gorilla. Probably not going to mean anything in the grand scheme of things, but for the time being, it is going to be NA Avoided taking that point.
NA Avoided is great at using that initiation to their advantage, because not only is Veronacinti doing the job of getting the kills, but as I kind of mentioned earlier, their entire composition has that kind of blunt damage that Citrus might not want to walk into immediately, but they're going to have to find a solution soon. It looks like they're going to try to do a little bit of a wraparound or just take them head on.
Asa has to TP out quite early. This might be a good potential engage for Citrus. And yeah, you're going to see them going very fast. They realize that TP out means that the front line is going to be a lot less sturdy. A nice little pulse coming out. Not going to hit it. Just barely able to get through the window there for Mikon. But Mikon, so low, is going to be taken down as well as the Kitsune Rush. I mean, Zomba. Zomba has been doing so much on this Tracer. And even without the Kitsune Rush, I think that Zomba's Tracer abilities so far have just been very good. Doing so much work. Goodbye, Z-Man. Unlucky. Back to the spawn.
I agree how everyone in NA Avoided just kind of seems to be like this well-oiled machine. Everyone's kind of playing their part. And now if you look at Citrus in terms of things to play, some ultimates are online here, specifically both support ultimates and almost both DPS as well. So a lot of great tools to try to come in here and distract NA Avoided.
We actually do see Zeb on the Winston here now, which, you know, I actually like the swap. I think that the bubble does provide a bit, but Ultimate Web getting just flattened by Doomfist. A bit of canonical accuracy there for you. And also finding Danny, this is just going to be a dead fight. And now, this is very, very similar to the last round where 80% on that clock for NA Avoided. And Citrus kind of backs against the wall here for map 1.
Yeah, it's looking kind of rocky for them. I mean, all of the stuff they've tried haven't really been successful as of yet, and now coming into the last fight territory, they're going to have to throw out kind of anything they have here to have a chance.
Oh, Danny is just barely able to dodge that meteor strike for the time being, but because of it, the blade is not going to get any value. Asa, EMP on the point just to ensure it, and I think that should be about it. No, Z-Man says, hold a minute. I'm going to make sure that I get at least one. Are they able to touch? Ultimate Web is here to get that touch, but Gorilla with one skill orb, 2 birds, 1 stone, if you will. And that's going to be NA Avoided taking that first map. Very dominant performance so far. And you have to remember, that was Citrus's map pick.
Yeah, that's going to be kind of a sting for Citrus, because if you kind of lose on your map pick, the one that's supposedly supposed to give you the advantage and momentum, it might take a blow to your overall confidence. But it's going to be really important here for Citrus to kind of take a little breather and know that they can come back after this, because one map just...
And by then, it just wasn't in their favor anymore. Citrus potentially just maybe need to pick up the pace a little bit. However, they're far better than me. I will not I will not lecture them on how to play this game when they're already in the finals here, or lower bracket finals, mind you. The beautiful Hollywood night sky is going to greet us for this second map.
Teku, as the Citrus connoisseur, as one might say, why do you think they decided to go on Hollywood for their second pick?
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if they just want to go here because they're able to force this Winston a little more. I feel like on Lijiang Tower, Winston is good. Don't get me wrong. Winston is probably like a top tier tank right now. Like don't get me wrong, but I think that this is just an opportunity to play those high grounds a bit more dominantly against the Doomfist of Zebra. As we've seen, Zebra is really strong on the Doomfist. If you haven't run into them in their ranked games, you're seeing it now. Very strong on Mr. Punchman. And, you know, obviously Doomfist is a dive tank. But the bubble from Winston, I think, is just going to potentially give them a bit more safety once they're in and just keep them from falling over immediately on the initial engage.
Is an interesting point to make because taking advantage of those high ground spaces, especially on one like Hollywood, is going to pay dividends, especially if you're the defender here. You want to make sure that the high ground doesn't get taken from you so easily.
Yeah, and we actually have Danny on the Ash here, who's already hit 2 quite large dynamites here, and I'm a big fan of this, just making sure that they're getting a lot of cleave here. Zebra is going to be trying to do a bit of positioning here, and I mean, Asa on that Junkrat again, don't knock it till you try it, is going to find Z-Man. Zeb is going to find Zebra in the meantime, but they are going to pay for it. Veranos finding a nice pick onto them. And, I mean, this does look like it's just going to be 0.1 for NA avoided already. We might see a recontest, but I doubt it just with how staggered these picks have been.
I keep saying it, but it's just becoming more apparent after every fight. But NA Avoided is just so good at just initiating fights and getting in there very quickly. Like, you see just how able they are to chase out the members of Citrus, even when they seemingly have a great setup on the high ground. And we see Asa here on that Junkrat. You said don't knock it till you try it. They're trying it and doing well because that kind of spam damage, if you will, is preventing Citrus from really coming together again.
Oh, Danny, a beautiful little punch there, but Zebra is going to pay by taking a quick nap. Danny finding a pick onto Asa. That Junkrat finally not being a thorn in their side for the time being. Z-Man is going to be taking a bit of space here. Zeb, help Zeb. Zeb is trying to take so much space. Zeb is going to be fine. They're accompanied by both of their healers. Look at how much space they're trying to take here, but the lovely interactions between a Kiriko and an Ana. You can see that they're still full health here. They've got 2 people here. A Nano's going to be committed. They just TP out. The sleep. Oh, they're committing so many ults to try and get this. And meanwhile, their front line is falling apart. This is... Oof. That's rough. That's a rough one.
Not sure if it was a result of miscommunication or
Oh, and the
desperation, but when you throw those kinds of ultimates out there to try to get things going, but at the same time don't have a solid front line or back line, you can't help but wonder why. Because the obvious answer to those viewing it is, why do you throw ults if you don't have a solid line? But sometimes you might want to try something out, but it didn't really work for Citrus here, so NA Avoided having 4 ultimates on the board, definitely going to take advantage of that.
Oh, Danny just flattened like a pancake. Zebra is so weak. Is Zebra going to die? Yes, Zebra is taken out by Zeb. So many Z's in this match, by the way. But I am the opposite of asleep. I am woke right now as we see Ultimate Web fighting on this point. A lot of little... It feels like a lot of 1v1s right now going around on this point. Mikon is going to be trying to take on Zomba. Meanwhile, Asa is going to find Z-Man back on the point. We have a couple of stragglers. The rally. Welcome to the IMAX Theater. Have a seat, eat some popcorn, grab a large drink, and take a look as this does not actually result in a net win for the side of Citrus. It is just going to be that Kitsune Rush once again proving far more useful. And I mean, good lord, look at that time bank. This is, this is just, I mean, they get to sleep, but it's a Kiriko. They're just going to TP out. They can cleanse themselves. Ultimate Web does find a pick. Z-Man, kind of the self-stagger here. I don't know. That was a bit weird. I feel like they could have just left there.
Yeah.
Man.
Because now the most important thing for them to do here, if you're Citrus, is stop the snowball. Because you already see how much space NA Avoided is willing to take as they enter this third point. And even with such a hefty time bank, if Citrus can pull off the stop good enough, then they could prevent them from either not capping or capping with very little time.
Bob with the bubble just running real fast out of that window, but it doesn't matter. Asa still finding Danny. This Junkrat is just proving to be a total nuisance for Citrus. They've swapped over to the Zarya, recognizing, hey, if you're just going to be spamming, we can shoot that spam back at you with some highly charged Zarya action. But for the time being, I mean, this cart is still moving forward. No space being held here. They're just trying to play for this last choke here. But as we see Zebra going to be going in right now, a punch is going to be missed. But, oh, Zeb going to be finding a pick on the Zamba. That's so good. Zamba has been such a playmaker for the side of NA Avoided, and I think that's really integral for them to be taking them out early in these fights. It's going to be a 5v4 right now, a bubble onto Ultimate Web just to provide a little extra safety for that primary push. And for now, we are going to see a bit of a stalemate here. So Zeb is going to actually be going back in. The block is out. A beautiful bubble here, saving them from Zamba's very, very good stick accuracy here. Good plays. Ultimate Web trying to do a little jump up there to deal with Asa. Oh, goodbye, Z-Man. Z-Man, more like ZZ-Z-Man. Back to spawn you go. You're going to be sleeping for 10 seconds as the rest of your team is going to be fighting out here. Ultimate Web with a nice little pulse onto Asa. The Doomfist ult is going to be coming out. And, I mean, I think at this point it should be Citrus's favor. Zebra missing that punch, just punching that limousine, saying, why are you here? I don't like escorting you, Mr. Rude, Rich Robot Hollywood Director. It's a nice little minute they got off there, but geez, it was chaotic.
Chaotic indeed, but Citrus is doing what they need to, taking out the players that are causing the most trouble first, really focusing them down, giving them enough opportunity to try to set up and really kind of force NA Avoided to take a little bit of a step back. And look at that tire, utterly destroyed.
They punched it. The actual bonk on the head. Oh, that's a beautiful punch, hitting two people at once. Zeb, I feel like, is just always at such a high health pool, even though they're engaging. They're just using such a good, they're doing such a good job of using that power block. And now, as we can see, still a very good hold here from Citrus at this final choke point. Finally getting some grasp of this defensive hold that they need. Zombo once again being found by Zeb. A nice sleep coming out. It looks like Zebra might be diving in a bit too far here. They actually used the rush for the side of NA Avoided. This is a rare misplay for that rush placement, I think, from Veranos. Unfortunate. I mean, that's been such a playmaker for them for this match so far, and losing that with only a minute and a half left, that hurts.
If you're Citrus, it could not have been a bigger blessing, because now that crucial playmaking ult is off the table, which is going to make it harder for NA Avoided to complete. Not just that, but also with that 1 minute to go and counting, whereas Citrus has a lot to work with, both individually and combo ability. They have that both grab and pulse to make something beautiful happen.
Yeah, Zeb is going to have that graviton. I mean, look at the ult bank on Citrus. That's just disgusting. There's the grab as well as the pulse. Ah, you try and cleanse that. It doesn't matter. That's going to be 2. That's a tried and true classic. A combo for the Overwatch annals of history, I must say. Also, Asa. I just saw... Asa is a true Junkrat connoisseur because they have the fake trap spray. So they place it on the ground, make people second guess themselves. The tomfoolery is afoot. 33 seconds left here. Zebra punching in, just trying to take some space. And this has been just a stranglehold here at this final point.
We see that during this strangle, Citrus has been able to build up some ultimates. The Nano came in here from NA Avoided, but there's also a Nano online for them.
A beautiful sleep. Are they just going to wait for that? Oh, no. Danny just got put to bed, and now a beautiful punch from Zeba. It looks like it's finally opening up for the side of NA Avoided, but good lord, it took a string of miracles for it to happen. Going to be rolling this in with 0 time left. I mean, I think if you're Citrus, you are happy to take that.
Exactly. I would definitely be patting myself on the back if I were Citrus, because now it gives Citrus an opportunity to put themselves in a really great win condition, because if they cap this with over a minute, then it's essentially a win or tie situation for them. And they did pick Hollywood, so I think that this is now Citrus really finding their role and kind of realizing towards the tail end of that first round, like, this is our comfort map. We kind of know what NA Avoided is going to try to play. We were able to hold them for literally 4 minutes. So I think they are definitely feeling more comfortable coming into the second round.
Yeah, and I mean, that Zarya swap was really, really, I think, the turning point for Citrus there. Just being able to, first off, provide some extra peel for those very aggressive dives from both Zomba and Zebra, and also just being able to build up that energy really quickly. because of the Junkrat of NA Avoided. Being able to throw that back and provide a lot more just on the point presence, I think, proved to be just a bit too much to handle for NA Avoided. And while they did get it, you have to remember they went into that with 4 minutes and 20 seconds, and they barely got it until the very end. So, like I said, Citrus probably very happy to have gotten all that time off, and now in prime position to ensure that they can't lose this map.
NA Avoided definitely has to keep all of that in mind and play with a little bit of a cautious mind, because now they realize what Citrus is capable of, and so they don't want to get too cocky here in their gameplay. They kind of want to take Citrus a little bit more seriously than they did supposedly on Legion.
I love that they're sticking to the Zarya here, recognizing what's working, even if there is some high grounds that they have to combat. They will take the long path to take them, but they recognize the Zarya is working. You saw really early on there that Zeb actually just used 2 of their bubbles immediately. Oh, ooh, that was almost an immediate pick onto the Tracer here, and they're going to be marking them very quickly, already having to give up space there from Zomba. And these DPS are doing a really good job of taking that outer flank right now. It is going to be the recall from Ultimate Web being forced for the time being, and that's a nice little anti onto Zomba. Ultimate Web is going to be found by the concussion mine of Asa, unfortunate for the time being, and now as Asa is holding this point, Zarya, Zeb, a bit out of position here. I'm not sure they're going to be able to get the help that they need as their supports are out, but the bubble is going to keep them lively for the time being. I mean, look, they're full health. They've been surviving just fine, able to just keep themselves in this fight while their supports are trying to kite that engagement of Zebra on the front line. And yes, once again, Zeb doing a great job of just keeping themselves positionally relevant, doing a good job of staying in that fight, always being an annoying little thing that NA Avoided have to consider. It's like, hey, if we stop paying attention to where Zeb is currently, they could just walk in and beam down one of our backline for free. And I mean, when you do that, that really frees up your backline, your own backline, to finally take that space. I mean, it was a very good job just staying alive without the help of their supports.
As you said, Teku, before, like, it's working for them, why switch? And it's really nice to see that they're able to kind of translate that into the attack, even though it was working before on defense. That just goes to show how Citrus can adapt their composition to several different situations, and now it's forcing NA Avoided to make that adaptation themselves.
A rush from the high ground. The Fox is going to be dropping down. Ooh, Danny, little skeet shooting there. Ultimate Web is going to be falling to some Junkrat spam. I feel like I feel like that's happening a lot. That's just how Junkrat be. And now Zeb is going to just be chilling here. I mean, Kitsune Rush once again just proving to be basically a fight winner for NA Avoided over and over and over again. Oh, that's going to be a nano onto the
nice.
Echo though. I mean, this is okay. Well, they Asa was able to just kind of pee hop away from that. Yeah, I think that Citrus are like, okay, we didn't get anything with that. We have to continue this. A nice little solo grab onto Zebra is going to take out the tag for the time being, but ooh, no! Asa with 2.
I was gonna say earlier, it's nice that NA Avoided had that Kitsune Rush as their kind of fight winner, but then I was gonna say, but wait, it looks like Citrus is going to exploit the fact they don't have it anymore. But then it was like, oh wait, Asa has the tire, and it works. So NA Avoided definitely having multiple tools in their arsenal to win these fights, and that's really what you want to see, that adaptation that I was mentioning earlier, where you have multiple strategies to combat the same kind of pushes that Citrus is trying to do. So now you see we've got about 3 minutes and going on the clock, so NA Avoided, if they keep this up and really maintain that solid control of the high ground, Citrus might cross point B with very limited time.
Yeah, and you know, we haven't really talked about Danny swapping over to the Echo, and overall, I think it's a smart swap. Going into a Junkrat and a Tracer, really the only one that's able to mark you are the supports. The supports are going to be the ones from NA Void potentially being able to be more of a nuisance for you. Zebra, by the way, is going to be flattening both supports while we're speaking of them, and now it's going to be the Doomfist coming back down, trying to get something done, but at this point, I don't think it really matters when you've lost both of your own supports. Yeah, time is beginning to become a factor here. I mean, there are still 2.5 minutes, but Hollywood second is known for being a bit hard to take, you know? And I feel like that's an understatement.
No, it definitely is a very big barrier that many teams have to cross, and we see that Danny has swapped over now onto the Sombra to try to get a little bit more going with the potential hack and focus, maybe targeting Zebra specifically, not allowing them to just punch away. But speaking of allowing them to just go, NA Avoided has that Kitsune Rush again online.
Yeah, and Zeb back on the Winston here as well, getting booped out of their bubble just continuously by these concussion mines, and is going to be the nano from Z-Man onto Zeb while they are zapping Gorilla here. And once again, we see this on a Kiriko backline proving so annoying to deal with on your own as a Winston. Ooh, a nice little recognition of Asa being out of position there, just a bit of a meandering away from their support line. Cart's not moving though. This is very unfortunate. I feel like the cart could have been next to the final curve here if someone had been on during that time. So they will get a second contest here before they get this in, and at that point, it's potential last fight territory. We see a little Tracer duel going on in Saloon here, and a nano for the side of NA Avoided is potentially... Oh, no. Oh, no! That's actually so terrible. They're punched off the high ground, but they're given a second high ground? Excuse me? They just slid all the way to the county jail and they're just taking up refuge on top of that. Zebra's going to be jumping back to the front line, and with that Sombra of Danny trying to keep them at bay, it is going to be Zebra once again trying to punch on to Z-Man, and once again missing it. Oh, Z-Man is just being absolutely bullied, belligerently bullied. Also finding Zeb. Are they going to get a second? No, wait. Okay, Danny is going to be taken out. I thought that they were missing a shot onto them for the time being, but oh my lord, this is just... It is going to be NA Avoided finding the picks for the time being with 30 seconds left.
Can't help but wonder if that little stall on the payload could have cost Citrus that point grab, because you see how close the payload is now, and if it had kind of gone around that final bend, as you mentioned, they could very well have taken point B in that last fight, and now comes for the time for almost desperation. Throw out anything you've got. We see Danny in line for a really great EMP, so it's going to have to come up huge here for Citrus.
Oh my lord, that was absolutely massive. Okay, this EMP is also massive, excuse me? Oh, the translocator is so far away. So many things just happened there in the span of 10 seconds. That was absolutely insane. Danny is going to get a touch here on the Sombra, but I don't think it's really going to matter. They can't touch again. The TP's so far away. And are they going to be able to touch? No. Ultimate Love doesn't even try to touch. They realize the map is over, and they avoided taking map 2, putting themselves on match point very early here.
And it's very, I say unexpected, because if we look at the seeds in the top corners, Citrus was rated number 1, and we see NA Avoided number 4. So definitely a major upset here in this tournament, but something that's really great to see, because it really shows NA Avoided coming into their own and beating Citrus now on 2 of their...
Demon Monster on the Sigma. If they aren't on Sigma for this map, I would be very confused. I would assume that that's the other half of the reason that they've come to Circuit Royale, is so that they can play that Sigma for Zeb. And yeah, I mean, I think that forcing a Sigma mirror would be great for them. And yep, it looks like that is going to be what we're getting. Wait, hold on a minute. Okay, so I'm noticing something for NA Avoided. You see that Zebra is not in. Zebra has been taken out. Tenacity is going to be in on the support, and moving over from support to tank is Veranos, who was in the last 2 maps playing the Kiriko for NA Avoided.
That's the definition of never let them know your next move. Maybe this is the secret strat. I guess, no, it kind of goes with what I was literally just saying, that unconventional play. Like, we weren't even expecting it, so Citrus probably isn't either.
And they're still on the Junkrat. I mean, this is...
I love it.
You know, obviously, I'm unsure if this has been their Circuit Royale strategy for NA Avoided, but this is definitely unexpected. I do like seeing Danny on the Widow here. Danny has been very good on this Widowmaker throughout the entirety of this tournament. And nice little rock there coming out from Veranos onto Zeb. And, oh, no, sorry. Teams are switched around. Give me a moment. It's going to be Danny fighting a pick onto Veranos. So it is going to be Citrus taking the space for the time being. And, you know, I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. Swapping Z-Man over to the BAP. It's a lot harder for any dive whatsoever to occur here. And when you're just in a poke v poke situation here between these two teams, Citrus appear to be taking the advantage and also finds a pick.
might be a little bit of a hiccup in the road, but Citrus still seems pretty comfortable on here overall. Like, when I was kind of talking about how they seem to find their footing, and you said signs of life, and they're kind of exhibiting it here.
Yeah, I mean, they're playing like this is 0-0, which is exactly what you need. You can't be like down in the dumps and trying to make hero plays just because you're down 0-2. You got to treat every map just the same. And Zeb finding Veranos with the help of Ultimate Web, finding a nice little arrow on there for the combination kill. Danny is going to be finding Gorilla as well, and that's point 1. 5 minutes for the side of Citrus, and that's exactly what I think they're hoping to see here.
And there we go. It's just kind of showing how Citrus is able to do that snowball as well, and a very, very healthy time bank in their hands. And now NA Avoided is in that kind of switched position where they're the ones that have to struggle.
Yeah, and if Danny had hit that shot, okay, well, Zeb is gonna say Danny may hit the body shot, but I'll hit the half-court rock. Jeez, nice little combo pick onto the Sojourn there of Zomba. NA Avoided struggling to get a foothold here, and this is just a total tonal shift from what we were seeing.
We see Asa on the Sombra too, trying to make something happen here for NA Avoided, but Citrus just looks super strong right now. We see ultimates, both windows coming out as well, but even then, Ultima Web keeping things going.
Yeah, I mean, this is so much just damage. So much damage for the side of Citrus. 525. They're rolling into point 2 with more time than they had rolling into point 1. This is absolutely crazy. Zeb is just going to be taking so much space here. The recognition of what ults they needed to use there. Great work there. Also able to get quite a few ults out for NA Avoided. But NA Avoided now with 3 ults. Going to be probably getting a nice stop here, one would hope. Unless something unfortunate happens, like a pick from Danny or Ultima Web, or potentially another crazy rock. Zeb heating back up on this Sigma. We have a bit of a stalemate here. The Flux is going to find the backline, but Zeb is able to dodge it for the time being, which is very good. Able to keep that tanking. No health depletion for them, but ooh, Zomba is going to find a nice pick on the Z-Man, and hopefully this is the first stop we're seeing for the side of NA Avoided. Yes, it will be. And even if they're trying to get these staggers, this is a very much needed break in the action.
I wonder if this will be kind of a reverse Hollywood where NA Avoided is going to hold for 4 minutes instead of Citrus, because obviously that's kind of their only win condition left. We see Asa back on the Junkrat to try and kind of get as much damage in there as possible within this semi-narrow corridor of third.
That's going to be quite a few ultimates, a lot of nice colors there we're seeing, and now, I mean, oh lord, you know, I love seeing Brig walk forward with the IMAX movie theater screen with surround sound. It's a very nice, very funny ability, and now Zeb with 900 health, without any, 900 health? Excuse me? That's crazy. Oh, what are you doing in here? That was a big mistake, Zomba. I'm not sure you want to go into that room. Zeb losing their 900 health, but back down to an understandable 500, is going to be continuing to walk. This window from Z-Man just putting so much pressure on this off angle, but has to get back to their backline, has to make sure that their Genji is kept alive, and Zeb is just going for a tour around the town. They've taken the high ground, and they're going to be dropping down, potentially finding another pick. They do have their Flux. Are they going to use it? It looks like they are. Yes, they are. They're going to be trying to pick up the Sigma on the point, maybe try and get a C9 here. They're going to get a couple of extra feet with it, but is it going to finish it? That's a C9. That, man, wow. That was a, 313 on Circuit Royal.
C9 or Sig9, whatever you want to call it, Zeb was definitely a playmaker in those last few fights. You mentioned it, and I believe it now. I mean, you kind of saw how Zeb really took charge there of Citrus in these last moments, being that Sigma, able to just push through, gain so much health, act as almost this indestructible wall. I mean, forget the IMAX screen, we've got the original IMAX screen, if you will. And so now, if you're NA Avoided, you are a little shaky, but not scary, because you're up 2-0, so it's not like this is going to get you out of the tournament, but now you obviously want to put this away. So looking at how Citrus is able to perform very well, you need to be a little bit weary about how they seem to have found their footing. So if you're NA Avoided, you want to try to keep Citrus on their toes, but at the same time respect their gameplay and respect how they're kind of coming into their own. So you want to be silly, but not too silly is the dumbed down version of what I'm trying to say.
I mean, I think we can all say it's very clear that NA avoided Flourish when Zebra is on the Doomfist. And currently Zebra is neither on Doomfist nor in the game. So I think that we can probably chalk this map up to maybe being good. You know, we can maybe assume that Citrus take this map. But if we look past this map, I'm very concerned for Citrus because, yeah, you won the map. It's 1-2 now in the series. But you, first of all, don't get to pick the map from here on out. And two, like, Zebra's just going to come back in, and NA Avoided is just going to pick maps that work for the Doomfist. Hollywood makes a lot more sense now, seeing that Citrus appear to be a very strong poke team. But, like, they weren't really playing poke, you know? They were playing kind of a dive for the most part. And oh my lord, Zomba says, be quiet, Tekugen. I am going to be shutting you up. I would like to get a pick on the Danny. This is not over.
they go, why are you talking about Citrus winning a map? We're not done yet.
Yeah.
Who says
Let's quell our expectations here.
In all seriousness, no, it's nice to see that NA Avoided is kind of taking this first part pretty swiftly because it kind of shows they're on the same playing field as Citrus. Even though it was Citrus's map pick, NA Avoided is saying, like, we can still play the same level of attack that you've put up.
I mean, the thing I love about that engagement from Zomba was it was literally just a slide directly into the front line to get that pick. The aggression, even though they are on a more poke-centric comp, still just not afraid to get up in the face and really, I think, potentially make Citrus a bit confused as to where, like, why they're so aggressive. It's like, hey, we just got 3 minutes on you. Like, where's this confidence coming from? That rock was very nice, I might add, from Veranos. Ooh, Danny is going to find the pick onto Zomba for the time being. A minute and 20 off the clock for now. But, I mean, essentially 4/5 of that point taken. I don't think NA Avoider are going to be too upset about that. And a very fast flux, excuse me? Potentially, oh my. All right, the lamp is going to come out, and it is going to save them for now. As well as the rally. I mean, listen, when I build a flux that fast, I might want to use it too. And they do get the rally out, but I don't know if the follow-up was there for it.
I agree. It was almost a little bit falling flat, not literally, but kind of metaphorically with that flux. What NA Unavoided is not in the worst position because they do have both support ultimates, particularly that kind of making Kitsune Rush we've talked about before, and Asa's pretty close to a respectable EMP. So if you're the side of Citrus, even though you've been winning these past few fights, you gotta make sure to recognize that NA Avoided could come back pretty soon.
Oh my, this ends now, by the way, and this ends now on the side of NA Avoided is going to be ending the this ends now on the side of Citrus. Zomba finding the better of the Sojourn matchup there for the time being, and now it's going to be another pick in their favor. Zeb falling, being left behind by the rest of the team as they try and regroup, potentially for a final recontest on this point. A minute 20 left. Very good use of that overclock for NA Avoided, and they do have this EMP, they do have a window, they do have a Kitsune Rush. They should be able to take this quite simply. Nice little manual hack onto the Hanzo. They're going to be trying to poke out the backline, and Gorilla is going to find Mikon. That's a very nice pick for them, and yeah, I mean, they're just going to take the point with that.
I like how Asa kind of did that poke to distract the members of Citrus from recontesting, because it looked like it was just Mikon surrounding the payload. And so that little bit of strategy there, if you want to call it that, really helped NA Avoided secure that point A.
Yeah, and I mean, a bit rough right now as they're essentially getting picked up, or the stragglers are getting picked off by Citrus here. But you're happy to take that point. And remember, this is an escort, not a hybrid. Any cap that you get on that final point just means you get to go again for round 2. And also actually really far back here. Really, really far away translocator positioning. There really aren't that many big health packs here for them to use, and that's going to be a Kitsune Rush coming out here. Zeb is going to be trying to quell that storm with their kinetic grasp, and a flux coming out. I believe they just got rocked out of it. Very nice rock is going to be coming out onto Veranos to cancel that. Zeb trying to stay alive. The window is going to be used, but Z-Man is going to fall because of it. The IMAX Theater is back in play, and now the rock going to be almost hitting Tenacity, but Tenacity is going to fall. This should be the side of Citrus winning this fight. Gorilla finding a pick, but I don't think it really matters at this point.
NA Avoided, you kind of thought that you had a winning strat there with that EMP and that flux coming in as well, but Citrus is able to hold their own, and we now see Zeb having a flux of their own, and we all know how powerful that can be. So NA Avoided is going to have a little bit of a challenge here to try to take point B.
Yeah, and, you know, 2 minutes left. you just use some good ultimates. Zomba does have that overclock coming online, which is very good. I actually really like this swap. The Diva swap, I'm a very big fan of. Ooh, Zomba, you know, you can't DM a punch. You can't DM a bonk on that. That's unfortunate.
Unlucky, but I agree with the Diva swap. It's definitely something not entirely conventional, as one would say, but sometimes it kind of fits the nature of what's going on. If you're getting kind of blunt damage in the face like that, then you might want to swap to a tank that will help kind of take that damage away from the rest of the team and allow them to really get through.
I mean, yeah, we also see Gorilla on the Moira once again, so very clearly trying to swap some things up. Just obviously not winning in that mirror matchup, going to be going to something that potentially fits them a little better or can be a little more counter-active to the side of Citrus. Zomba with a nice little flick onto Danny. Goodbye, Tracer. Going to be going back to the spawn room for now, but they are going to pay with it. That aggressive slide that we were talking about proving to be a bit lethal in unhelpful way. Gorilla is going to be popping a very fast coalescence, I might add. Are they going to be able to get the brig? No, they're not able to get the brig. Are they going to be able to get the Baptiste? No, the Baptiste is going to be jumping over their heads, getting back to their Brigida, who is now going to be rallying, walking forward, flailing everyone in front of them. And I mean, this is just unfortunate. The Brigida is so tanky here as a support. And less than a minute left. Veranos trying to stay in this mech here. Going back in just for a second, maybe seeing an opportunity, but no. Last fight territory here. We got a bomb, we got a rush, but that's about it. Potentially an EMP.
Gonna be up to NA Avoided to kind of throw out everything they've got. Potentially an EMP bomb combo if they can hold out long enough.
Veranos just finds Ultimate Web just randomly with nothing more than just a fly forward and some fires from the fusion drivers. Very nice little pick there. And now X-Man, or X-Men, Z-Man. So many Z's. Zomba, X-Man, Z-Man. So many last letters of the alphabet here to keep track of. But, you know, it's also having to be kept track of this window from the side of Citrus, doing a lot of damage. Veranos is going to be getting taken out of that mech, but they have the Bomb 2 remech. A nice little pulse bomb, not able to find a pick. Ultimate Web back on, but Torbjorn, surprise, surprise, it's Sweden time. It's going to be Ultimate Web now. Oh, a nice little EMP here is going to make sure that it's going to be very tough for the side of Citrus to hold for here. But Zeb, with that flux, we've seen them do so much on the Sigma for this fight. They're saying, this is my map. This is us winning it. I want to end it now. The D-Mech is going to be coming in. Gorilla trying to keep their team alive with that coalescence. Ultimate Web is going to be taken out by Asa. This is potentially winnable here for the side of NA Avoided, but no. Citrus proved to be far too strong on this Sigma Poke comp, and Circuit Royale belongs to them.
Yes, contrary to what the screen says, it is Citrus who have taken that victory. And they really showed how they can just swap a complete 180. Like, this is Citrus now. They are in the driver's seat. They're feeling good, very confident. Clearly, Circuit Royale was the answer they needed. It's one of their most they avoided in the advantageous spot because they are able to just get in there so quickly. So coming in here, hopefully the heroes that were teased before the pause will still ring true, because you were mentioning how it seemed that Citrus was trying to counter comp, which is essentially the best course of action for them right now.
Yeah, and it does look like things may not be as they seem. Zeb is on the Junker Queen, but they are keeping the Sombra, which I'm very happy to see. On the side of NA Avoided, it does look like things will be fairly similar, but we will have to see if Zeb sticks to the Junker Queen. I don't hate it. Honestly, I think that kind of solves some of the, some of the speed that we were talking about, because Junker Queen does have that shout ability, able to get back a little bit faster, and also just in the mid fights have a bit more slipperiness. Just that extra health and having that extra speed does make them a bit more annoying to handle, gives them time to reposition. And it looks like we're going to be seeing two vastly different approaches here. Citrus is going to be trying to take the bot to start with. And if they had hit that shot, if Asa had hit that shot, I would have screamed. That was almost crazy. Z-Man, for the time being, though, is going to find Zomba. A very nice pick, making sure that Zomba is not able to run rampant in their backline for the time being. And as the bot unlocks, it is going to be Citrus in charge for the time being. This is still a fairly scrappy fight. And yes, look, the hack onto the Doomfist, doing a great job. They're so low, the power block just barely able to keep them alive. And yes, they do have an empowered punch now, but they have to abscond from the point for the time being. They're going to be trying to contest from the lower ground for now. Zeb taking the high ground, shouting, taking space. Will they be able to get the Junkrat? No, the shout actually is not going to give them the speed that they need in order to reach them in time for that swing, and Zebra finding Z-Man. It looks like as that knife is missed, it should be NA avoided taking it, but Ultimate Web finding Gorilla. That's a very big piece of the healing taken out. This is very, very much in favor of NA avoided right now. But it didn't come for free.
I was just about to say, even if NA avoided did get that fight win, I definitely felt like they didn't get it as quickly as they had before, which really goes to show how Citrus is really putting up a fight and how this swapped composition is kind of helping them. So it might take a little bit for them to get used to what they're trying to run, but I feel like this is a good idea to keep.
Yeah, and Zomba already having to use that recall, doing a very good job of marking him. The Bell is also out. Ooh, oh, Zebra, excuse me? Good day, good night. Danny says hello, I'm back. You want to talk about Zebra? How about you talk about me? That's a 2K pulse bomb for them as well. Against that Kitsune Rush, this definitely isn't over. That Kitsune Rush has been so useful for the side of NA avoided, and it's definitely not over here. Going to be perched up on top of their Veranos. They are going to be found by Z-Man. Z-Man with a quick 2 onto the back line. Hero plays back to back to back.
I really like how we're seeing parallels between Citrus and NA avoided, because, for example, we were talking on Lijiang about how on NA avoided, Verana was able to get a lot of those kills as the Kiriko, which you mentioned, Teki, was very valuable for that role. And now we see Citrus doing the exact same thing. And now we also see Citrus doing those really clutch plays.
Takes a bit, but Zeb does find the Junkrat there. They do have that Rampage, but once again, going all the way back to Lijiang Tower. Got to make sure they don't have that Suzu to cleanse it. The rush is going to be coming out for the side of Citrus, and yes, beautiful. Getting rid of Zebra, the thorn in their side, getting rid of it. Able to take space now. They're actually going to be taking space back into their own backline, and oh my, hello! Z-Man just finds everyone here. That's 2, 3! Oh my lord!
The Fox has been unleashed. The Kiriko just putting in the third DPS we never had. I mean, that's really crucial, though, for Citrus, because having just that amount of extra damage can be dividends for their approach.
That was filthy. I mean, I don't think they were expecting to find everyone facing into the room when they got up there, but they get the 2, they get the 3rd on the Tracer duel. I mean, that's absolutely crazy. And I mean, this is really good for Citrus. They not only do they get the checkpoint, but they're already moving the bot. Those picks came so late. Z-Man is coming alive here. Z-Man has been doing a great job in this series, but now they've decided to become the star for Citrus. So many good picks coming out in the last minute alone. And now, as they poke out even further, I mean, look at the space here. That is being controlled by Citrus. Asa being found by Zeb yet again. 2nd time in the last 2 minutes. This is... okay, Asa's trap does find Danny post-mortem. That's a bit funny. Unfortunate for the side of Citrus, but is the EMP potentially going to be coming in? No, just the manual hack onto the Doomfist. They are going to be forced out with that Meteor Strike in the time being. Ultimate Web does go down, and this finally looks like potentially the end to this push for Citrus. Will they get out? Z-Man trying to stay alive. They're going to be trying to take the duel. Oh, the 1-inch teleport! Oh, an accidental team troll with Mikon walking in front of Z-Man. Unfortunate there. The Kiriko potentially could have gotten out, but in the grand scheme of things, I don't think that really matters.
I agree. Like, we were talking about what the answer could be for Citrus, and we said anything under the sun but Z-Man's Kiriko. And now we kind of see that Z-Man's Kiriko might just be that answer. Because if you are able to put in enough damage to essentially get everyone else on NA Voided out of the way, on top of a great EMP, then you can just focus down the Doomfist more.
Yeah, I mean, Z-Man, again, a headshot, Asa down. Massive plays here. Z-Man teleporting in, and now as they take the bot is being taken for the side of Citrus. They're just walking it. The Gorilla is going to be using the Coalescence to try and flip this. A Kiriko ult as well. So much damage being put out from NA Avoided just to try and stop this bot from walking back in their spawn's direction, but no, it is still Citrus inching it forward. Each fight is going to be giving them extra positional advantage here. Does look like it is going to be a bit of a stalemate here for the time being. Just both teams trying to figure out when the other will make a positional error. It is going to be Asa having that tire, potentially waiting for someone to try and come and find him. A bit of a bait and switch, if you will. But Zomba finding Mikon. That's very good for them. Asa now just chasing with the tire, recognizing that the jig is up. They're able to find Zeb. And finally, maybe finally, NA Avoided are able to get some form of progress here.
And that's going to be really huge, especially since they have the tools to try to keep that going, because Zebra with the Meteor Strike and the general lead of the robot is really going to allow them to kind of set up and make sure that Citrus doesn't get in as easily as they have been before. But, I mean, hey, Citrus has been proven that they have ways of getting by this. So if Citrus can, then they will. So NA Avoided's going to have to be a little bit cautious here.
Oh, the pulse is going to go wide. A rare miss from Zamba there. And now, oh, Danny, be careful. Asa is known to get those random picks with the Junkrat spam. Kitsune rush for the side of Citrus is going to be coming in. Danny in the backline with this pulse bomb. Are we going to see a triple blink into the backline? No, holding it for the time being, recognizing that they can just play the bot. They don't need to go eat just yet. The time is not nigh. Time may just be in a couple of seconds once some some abilities have been used from the side of NA Avoided. And now, a bit of a stalemate yet again. The block is going to be coming out. Ultimate Whip is going to go down, though, to the Kiriko of NA Avoided here. Veranos saying, hey, I'm able to get picks too, and stepping into the trap. Oh, exactly not what you want to do as a tank player. Pulse is going to go wide there. Yeah, this is going to be the point taken. This is going to be first checkpoint taken for NA Avoided for sure.
Definitely seeing them now finding their footing once more. Citrus still trying to put up a little bit of a fight with that hack, but overall, NA Avoided looks pretty good, solid, and confident right now. So Citrus is going to have to find a way to kind of regain the space that they've lost. I mean, Mikon has the beat to give them some insurance here, but what else can they use to try to get those picks?
The beat is going to be used in response to the Kitsune rush. The Rampage is going to come in even with the rush. They don't care. They're going to find Asa. That's actually very surprising considering that they should have had a bell 2 times as fast, even if they had already used it. Zeb swinging around on the point. No one's really there. They're all trying to back up. Ooh, Danny is going to fall to a random seismic slam, and now they're actually going to be committing the EMP here, and they're going to try and focus the Doomfist. Oh, why not go for a squishy? Surely that would have been a better call there. Zeb now being left out to dry. Z-Man falling to Gorilla's Coalescence, and oh no, 2 ults were used there. Nothing gained.
I feel like they had the idea of focusing the Doomfist because of that kind of focus fire strategy I had hinted at before. But then, as you mentioned with the squishies, that kind of goes with the other option where take out everybody and then leave Doomfist to be alone and focused on, because if he doesn't have any backup, then he's going to be easier to take down.
Yeah, and oh, Danny with a nice stick. It's onto the Doomfist though. Or was it the Doomfist? I'm not sure. It might have been Asa. I can't tell. But the Pulse is going to not get anything. Asa's tire is going to be dealt with by Ultimate Web, and now the lead just in NA Avoided sights. This could potentially be where they flip it back. Zeb back onto the Zarya, recognizing that hey, maybe this was the answer before. We can make it the answer again. The rush from Z-Man coming out, going to say, hey, we're not going to step in that trap this time. I'll deal with it. Some kunais are going to take it out. And now it's going to be Zebra falling. Asa as well. Z-Man coming back alive, getting the pick. Zeb walking on the back line. Disaster avoided for the time being.
Disaster avoided certainly for Citrus, but disaster created for NA Avoided, because they were very close to overtaking the distance on the robot compared to what Citrus has already done. And so now with only less than a minute on the clock, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge here for NA Avoided to try and do that, because if they get control of the robot now, they're literally going to have a perfect fight win ratio here on out.
This is dangerous. The picks are coming quite early for the side of NA Avoided in their favor. And now Z-Man is going to find Asa. That's actually a nice little pick here. Danny falling. So what we're going to see here, Asa is going to respawn at the far spawns. They're going to take a second to get back. They do have the conch mines to get back in a decent amount of time. But Citrus has built up to an EMP, a pulse bomb, and a Graviton Surge. The Zarya swap potentially also a great opportunity for them to just have a team wipe ultimate along with that EMP. So many team wipes potential with these ultimates as long as Zamba doesn't get a heroic stick here. All right, they recognize it. They recognize that Zeb does have that Graviton Surge. Oh, that was so close. Danny almost went, or Ultimate Whip almost went down with that EMP, and now it is overtime. What is it going to be? The rush just to take the space was used, but it has faded. What's going to happen now? The Doomfist is going to be coming into the backline. The Grav is going to come in. The Bell is out. Are they going to be able to get the Kiriko? They do, but now the Doomfist is out. The Coalescence. Zebra is going to find a pick on the Ultimate Web. All the ults are being thrown out here. Are they going to be able to find anything? Danny does get punched, but they are going to be able to recall to stay alive for the time being. Zebra falling. Zeb, a Titan on this point, unable to be faltered. And now, with map being taken at the edge of our seats, map 5 welcomes us in, and we're going to be getting a very nice mirrored rematch here where map 5 will decide it all between these two.
This is definitely Citrus's time to shine, because not only are they coming back and feeling comfortable, but let's not forget whose map pick this was. Now they have...
See this go to 3 points. That would be great. And as we circle in to the beautiful cloudy villages of Nepal, it does look like we're going to be seeing essentially what we saw in the last map. The only difference really is Gorilla on the Ana. We've seen them play essentially both Ana and Moira, so not too surprising there. We can assume that the Symmetra is just a TP out of spawn, swapping back over to the Tracers there. And then we have a good old-fashioned matchup with the same comps that we've been seeing here.
I wonder if the tenacity on the Kiriko decision was to try to mimic what Z-Man has been doing. Because tenacity came in originally as like a support player, as we kind of mentioned. And so now I'm interested to see why they decided to do that. I know you speculated whether it was a hero pool thing or part of the plan. So now this kind of has me thinking it might be part of the plan, since we already have seen Kiriko in this match.
Yeah, Zeb's bubble usage here, you know, it does get them up to 50 energy, but I think it could have been better. But we cannot be too picky when we're in the midst of a crazy team fight. Walking into the enclosed space with the Junkrat, I might add. Z-Man finding Zomba. I mean, Z-Man, if Citrus do end up winning this, point has not been taken, by the way. Point has unlocked. No one is on it. Here we go. And Navdided did try and sneak a cap in, but going back to Z-Man, if Citrus do get this reverse sweep, I mean, Z-Man, I would have to give like an MVP for the match or something, because their playmaking so far has been instrumental to clawing back these fights. A very early bell for the side of Navdided onto Zebra, just to make sure that they stay alive here, taking good space. Zomba sneaking in from the upper high ground and just poking away at Zeb, making sure that they're not feeling too comfy. They do give a little bit of space, and now this is some odd positioning, but Asa being taken out by Zeb. Tenacity as well. So far, Citrus is controlling this map very well.
One thing that I've noticed too is that Navdided doesn't really seem too keen on swapping up their composition, even despite the fact that Citrus is looking to dominate right now. And we see Asa finally kind of going onto that Sombra, but everything else has really been staying the same. So, like this Doomfist, they're still really confident that Zebra can get things done. So you can't help but wonder, will Zebra be able to still accomplish that?
I mean, yeah, when you're essentially getting full counter comped at this point, it does become a question of like, all right, like obviously your strongest hero is Doomfist. You don't really want to swap it, and that's fine. But what are the changes that you make to your gameplay then that enable you to not fall over? Speaking of falling over, how does the weight of a gravitational surge make you feel? Probably not too great. Oh, the bubble! The bubble actually faded away right at the last millisecond, so Zomba gets Zeb. Currently, there are no tanks for either side here, but as it is a 3v4 in Citrus's favor, I don't really think that we're going to be seeing Navdided take use of this. Remember, though, Zebra is much faster coming back from spawn than the Zarya, but mind you, Zeb is no longer on the Zarya. They are on the Winston, coming back on Mr. Monkey himself. Opposing Kitsune rushes are going to be making this a very nice array of colors that we're looking at. Danny is going to find Tenacity. Zebra finding Ultimate Web, Zeb finding Asa. Is just back and forth at 99%. The point is actually going to be flipped over to Navdided. A very nice little sneaky flip. And while they are still in this fight, Z-Man is so low. I'm not sure they're going to be able to stay alive, just being very slippery as Kiriko needs to be in this meta. Zeb is going to fall for the time being, and I think this should finally be a bit of a stabilization. But no, as I say that, it's going to be 2 picks from the DPS of Citrus, finding them on Navdided, getting 2. A stick from Zomba, once again good for it. The sticks from this individual have just been absolutely sublime this entire series, but no, Danny and Z-Man are going to be answering back, trying to flip this point back. Zomba, along with their Lucio and Gorilla, is going to be here trying just as fast as possible to get back, contest this point, but no, Gorilla is going to fall. Zomba falling as well. The Tracer diff coming in, and that's 0.1 in Citrus's favor.
Citrus was definitely very pesky there in those last few moments, because I was almost going to say if Navdided had won that fight, that little, like, quick flip on the point was really instrumental for them. But even then, like, Citrus did not care. They probably were fine even with letting that point flip if it meant them kind of getting that successful regroup and coordination. So coming into this now second point, it really is now do or die for NA Avoided, and Citrus feeling comfortable staying on what they know. NA Avoided, are they going to do the same thing as well, or is it really time to try something new?
I mean, yeah, and I actually really dig this support lineup for NA Avoided. We do see Tenacity on the Zenyatta, something that we know is really good in their hero pool. They obviously bring them in to play it. It makes a lot of sense. I think leaning into that makes a lot of sense too. Gorilla as well, swapping from the Moira to the Ana in the spawn room. And already a very fast engage. The shout is being used very early here. Swing not going to find anything. That Sombra is already gone back to the health pack that they placed the translocator at. And now, a bit of a neutral fight here. It does look like Z-Man is just going to be playing kind of almost as bait, it looks like, in the middle of their team, just trying to keep their team alive, always making sure that they have LOS, keeping everyone alive, and a nice knife! Just Zeb finding a nice little throw onto Zomba. Playing Modern Warfare 2 out here. Z-Man does get hacked, but the hack onto Zebra will ensure that their hack is mightier than the one onto them. Man, that's going to be the first flip in Citrus's favor. 95% is all they need for a reverse sweep.
And it's really becoming a reality for them. Citrus looks great. Ultimates are almost online. NA Avoided, they do have some coming on as well, but how are they going to get to this point now? Because Citrus has set up, it looks like they're kind of on checking all angles, if you will. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult for NA Avoided to try to really get in there. But, you know, and look at that, the Junker Queen getting Gorilla really early on, already forcing a regroup.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting close to the nano here, but I honestly, at this point, wouldn't mind to see Gorilla go to the Moira just so they're a bit harder to just kind of track down for this aggression that Citrus seem to be putting out right now. 42% here for Citrus, and Zomba does have full spawn. Zomba has been so good with these. Will they be able to find it onto one of the backline? They're going to have to recall for the time being, but oh, the Lucio, Nikon is able to just slip out at the last second, and now the Kitsune Rush for Citrus is going to just basically guarantee that this point remains theirs for the time being. Zomba's being chased out so hard right now, all the way back to their side of the map, and now Danny as well with a pulse bomb. Which pulse bomb is going to be the mightier of the two? But no, Tenacity on that Zenyatta, finally. Oh, they've paid with their life, but losing your tank is so unfortunate. Oh, a nice little jump up. Danny finding the step up. The pulse, is it going to hit? No, it doesn't. They almost killed themselves with it, but no, thankfully, they're able to blink away from it at the last second. Hacked now on the low ground is Zomba. Are they going to be able to stay alive? No, Ultimate Weapon is going to find the punch onto them. 83%. This is getting very dangerous for the side of NA Avoided. They should be playing for a last recontest here. Oh, is Zebra going to stay alive? The Mega Health Pack comes back right at the last second, and just with the primary fire from like 10 meters away, is able to get Danny. Oh my, oh, it's all coming down to the wire. Zebra is going to fall to Zeb, who pops that Rampage. The Transcendence is going to come in as well as that EMP. Asa is going to be popping it. Zeb falling to Gorilla's, what do you call it? The nade, the jar, whatever you want to call it. Asa is going to be fighting on this point. Mikon is going to find Tenacity yet again. That Zenyatta proving just too diveable, not able to stay alive for long enough. Asa has to TP out. Who's on the point? Danny's actually searching for the backline here, trying to jump up yet again, but Gorilla finds them. Some help from the Sombra as well. And things are just absolutely dire for NA Avoided.
They quite literally had to throw out everything there to just get that last bit, but now they have to have a perfect hold here on out because it's only 99 for Citrus, and although they don't have anything immediately online right now, Citrus could very easily get something going relatively soon, so NA Avoided really has to buckle down.
Yeah, I see all you Zebra fans in the chat, and if you want your streamer to win, you gotta root for him now. Asa's gonna be falling, so it's a 4v5. Citrus already trying to take that last fight in their favor. Tenacity finds Danny. Tenacity continuing to find these most critical picks on that Zenyatta, proving why they should have been brought in. Danny says, oh, Danny didn't even recognize. They got outplayed by Mr. Monkman. The map difference, the lore difference, it's all coming into play. +5 damage maybe for any Zenyatas on this map. And now Zomba is going to be clearing out this right side, looking for that Sombra. And now We're in a bit. Oh, look at Asa. Look at Asa's positioning. They're potentially going to be trying to find a pick onto Mikan, but oh, Zamba's going to be found. Asa now, they know that they have the beat. They know that they have a lot to work with here. Oh, the punch! They're actually able to get rid of the Lucio so that they don't have the beat. The rush is on the point, but it doesn't matter if they don't have that extra survivability. Zebra finds a pick on the Z-Man! Oh my lord, they're weathering all these ults so beautifully. The stick onto Gorilla means that they don't have a nano boost. And now, as the Sombra cloaks on the point, running around, they are going to find the hack. Zeb is going to find Zebra, but the hack onto the Sombra for themselves. It is going to be, it looks like it, Citrus at the last moment. Is there going to be a touch? Is there any touch whatsoever that they can get? The Tracer's going to try and get it. They do get the touch, just trying to keep this point contested for as long as they can, but I don't think they're going to be able to touch. It's over. The reverse sweep is here, and Citrus, 3-2, NA avoided.
Wow, that was... You took my breath away just by talking us through that last fight, because literally it came down to just the most minute things. Like, as soon as we thought one team was going to win, the other just kind of went back right over. Like, that beat seems like such a game changer when you don't have that extra health boost.